I get the shakes every day at 3:30, rain or shine.
Let me know what's on your mind.
Welcome to episode number 10 of Through the Eyes of Guys. Don, did you think we would make it to 10?
I did, but you seem to have your doubts.
Well, no offense, but you show up every couple weeks looking pretty, and there's a lot of other crap that I have to do between there. So that's why I thought I would fade. But no, I'm happy to keep doing it. I love doing it. I'm having fun with it, and kudos to us for sticking with it. Thanks for not giving up on me. We just did a fist bump for those of you that are not watching the video. Thanks for being a part of it. 10 is a pretty
10?
big deal.
Yeah, no, and I like doing this. It's like, I love shooting the shit, man. So yeah,
We're both pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So, speaking of shooting the shit, today we couldn't think of a topic, and so we are just going to be going with a Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen what, you might ask? We were texting the other day, and it was kind of just random stuff that the four of us here at this table were talking about. And I said, well, why don't we just do the next episode kind of like this? Each of us bring a couple of small topics to the table. We'll do a round table thing. We each chime in on it, and we'll call it their Dirty Dozen. All right, and that's what we're going to do. There's four guys, 3 questions each. That is the Dirty Dozen. So welcome back, Paul.
Thanks.
It's been a few episodes since you've been on here, so we appreciate your time and your efforts for being here today.
I always appreciate the invite. Thanks, Ed. And Don.
And we have a newbie, Rookie. Go ahead and haze him, guys. We have a hazing process, so we haven't, I guess.
I'm touching his knee under the table.
I'm already short. It's God's way of hazing. So,
Chris, welcome. So are you, tell us about you. Are you from here? Did you grow up here? And tell us who the hell you are.
absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on. 36 years of age. Grew up in Metro Detroit. Moved out here to Chicago, I think just shy of about 10 years ago in real estate. And actually met you through one of my passions, which is boating. And apart from that, just, I guess, normal life. Not a whole lot going on right now that's really spectacular. So...
Great. And special thanks to our producer friend Kelly, who has joined us today to be timing us and keep us on task. Yeah, first time we're having some actual applause here. There's a lady in the room for the production. I hope it doesn't mess with the Zen or whatever the hell.
Double X
of all those
chromosome.
guys.
Be careful.
So keep us on task, okay? Make sure that we don't go over the 3-minute threshold there. I think most of the transplants that I know that have moved to Chicago are either from Ohio or Michigan. Do you guys feel the same way?
I have a bunch of friends from Iowa.
No, that were born and raised next to a cow or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a lot of friends that went to Iowa University, but not that.
No, I think you're right. When I first moved down to the city from the burbs, and I would just meet somebody at the gym or be like, oh, where are you from? 90% were Detroit.
Yeah, 08 was a bad time to be around Detroit, and I don't think it got
08
off
actually.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened in 08?
There were a couple people who got upset over a couple things, but no, in the grand scheme of things, I would say probably, maybe 75% of the people, in the neighborhood, if you went to an okay college and you kind of had a shot to come out to the city, you did. So
Is Northern Illinois University an okay college?
it's a spectacular college, in fact. So.
How about Loyola?
Also a good college.
Thank you.
How about University of Michigan?
Yeah, well, in the grand scheme of things, I would say I always describe Chicago as the sink of the Midwest. So if you're going to go here, almost everybody comes up, and there's a couple good memes actually circulating right now about exactly that. So
Sink I can handle, as long as we're not the armpit, which is basically Indiana.
St. Louis.
Yeah. Okay. Home of George.
to be fair, I was born in St. Louis.
St. Louis is the armpit of America. But more on that later.
In episode 11.
Shall we get to it?
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1 of the Dirty Dozen, and this is probably going to be one of the dirtiest questions that are in at least my group of questions here. Kelly, you were here last week and you witnessed this. Picture yourselves drunk. Picture yourselves. Close your eyes if you need to,
Like
Paul.
done. Done.
You're drunk. You had 3 vodka sodas, and you're arguing with this girl about something that you are passionate about. She gets angry. She stands up, and as she's walking away, calls you a motherfucker. What is your knee-jerk reaction? How do you respond to her? Keeping in mind, you're already pissed off, you're drunk, and she said that to you. No taking the high road. I mean, if you can, if your knee-jerk when you're drunk and angry is to take the high road, go for it. But go ahead, Paul.
All right, so I have a strategy that I have really embraced for most of my life, and that is to not let the individual who's insulting me think they've actually gotten to me.
Right.
And so she says motherfucker to me, I go, thank you, or I give her applause.
With the smile you
With the
just had?
smile, well, yes, with this smile. Sorry, audio folks. And so I find that usually enrages the individual even more, which then gives me great joy.
I would normally be talented enough to do that as well if I was sober,
Right.
but I was already pissy, so I totally love that though.
I mean, it also works like if I'm ever in traffic, and I think I'm a pretty good driver, but if someone cuts me off or I accidentally cut someone off and they give me the finger, I wave and I smile and say thank you, and that you can just see that they get even more upset when then it makes me happy.
I tend to flip into more of the defensive mode, and at first kind of give them that mean look. But I don't know. Generally, it always breaks down to comedy and humor, and if you start laughing. But I think to clarify too that this is partially a real story, is it not?
Oh yeah, it happened last week. Yep. Which I'll tell you my knee jerk was after this, after these messages.
Yeah.
I already know what your knee jerk was because we talked about this, but your knee jerk was actually a lot less offensive than what my knee jerk would have been, and it, depending on how drunk I'll go to my favorite word whenever I feel like it.
Does it begin with the letter C?
It begins with the letter C and ends with the letter T. And in this country, oh boy, the whole room shuts the fuck up when you say that word.
Cat.
He says this country because actually we were talking to our buddy from New Zealand.
And
the
I
other
grew
day.
up in Scotland, and it was like that's their equivalent of bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's less harsh.
There's less stigma on the word.
Yeah.
A lot more people say it, a lot more often. And women say it. It's not it doesn't have this, it doesn't carry the stigma it does here.
So I responded, obviously, as you guys know, with okay, bitch. And my God, we were in a bar with not super loud music, but there was music playing, but I could hear the gasps. Because, and apparently I talked to some female friends. By the way, I surveyed some people. Opinions are across the board. Mm-hmm. Some people think that I was harsh because a lot of females do think it's like, whoa, it's like the end-all, do-all insult. Other people were like, motherfucker's kind of more harsh than that. So I have no survey results for you guys.
No, but it's what I told you when we were initially talking about it. I'm like, just literally taking it
Literally, yes.
Like, bitch is a little more harsh. You're calling somebody a female dog in heat, as opposed to she was just calling you a father.
Which I was chuckling when you brought that up because it's like, yeah, and I wish sober me would have been like, hey, so if I'm a motherfucker, you are a female dog in heat. Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Paul, what's your first one?
My first question is not as I guess I don't know if I'd call that controversial, Ed, but I think it's a fun kind of light one. Give me your worst job you ever had, comma, I will also accept worst interview, and that can be interpreted any way you want. Whether you were a bad interviewer or or whether the job sucked or maybe you just sucked at your job.
Anyone?
Well, I got started actually at a private airport in Metro Detroit, and originally it was supposed to be kind of a round robin where you go to everywhere, and they did anything from literally busing aircraft to servicing to sales and all that. Grand scheme of things, what ended up happening was I was coming in every day in a tie and in all suit stuff, and at the end of the day, they bumped me down to the kitchen. So I was bussing planes.
What was the first position?
Well, it was supposed to be basically
Switching off?
yeah, generic, across like the 10 or 12 things that they did there.
Okay.
And they ended up needing help in the catering department. So I ended up catering at an airport, and it went from bad to worse because if anybody's ever worked in a commercial kitchen, that's a difficult job to get even more into it in an airport. Everybody was mad. It was hot. It was disgusting, and cleaning dishes.
And you were in a
whatever.
suit.
Yeah, in a suit is not great. And so that was one of the only jobs that I at some point just didn't show up again for. So yeah, that was a pretty awful one.
Yeah, I had a pretty bad one when it was probably my first job. I was like 13 or 14. I was living in Florida at the time, and it was one of those door-to-door cold calling sales jobs where you're selling like peanut brittle to old people.
Ouch.
That was plus they made us dress like Mormons. I had to wear a shirt and tie and like khaki pants and go up and knock on people's door at 8 a.m. on like a Saturday morning and be like, hey, do you want to buy some peanut brittle? I can't tell you how many times I had a door slammed in my face. And I'm 13 and like pretty cute at that time. I was a good looking kid. And still, just
Modest.
people just being like, go the hell away. Or like, or there'd be times when they wouldn't even open the door. I'd just hear it through the door. I'd be like, go away. We don't want any. And I'm like, it was brutal. And we used to we'd meet at like 6 a.m. and I'd be like, and we'd sit around for 2 hours before we'd start and be like, why do we have to meet at 6 a.m? I was like, I could have rode my bike here 2 hours from now and you guys had still been sitting here, and it was, I did it for about, I think it was 3 weeks, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I just, my mom was like, well, I wanted you to get a job. And I was like, not that job, any other job but that job.
Jeez. Most of my jobs have been tolerable. I have a top two. One of them, I don't know how servers do it. People are assholes. I was a server for about a month until I was able to replace that with a DJing job at another bar. And just people are jerks. They treat you terrible, and there's all this crap to remember too. There must be a certain side of the brain or something that didn't work for me. The other bad job I had was during college. I worked at the bookstore.
Oh.
I had this old lady as my supervisor, and all I was doing the whole time during the first part of school, when school got in session, was going see which notebooks needed replenishing, write down how much, go in the back, grab them, and bring them up. And oh my God, was she on my ass? That was bad. Next question, Chris.
A little bit of levity here. So, what is your favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh.
My favorite one to ridicule or the one that I actually kind of believe?
Yes.
Stevie Wonder can see.
Is there really a theory out there?
Yeah, and there's been too many people with too many stories. I'm not saying he's not legally blind, because there was a golfer, Tom Watson, who was legally blind and still could golf. But I'm just saying that he's not as blind as everybody thinks he is. And I know I'm going to piss off the blind community right now and a lot of people that love Stevie Wonder, but he can see a little bit. There's videos out there of him catching a mic stand. like Paul McCartney knocks over a mic stand and he reaches out and catches it. And I'm like, there's no effing way he could do that if he couldn't see a little bit,
You don't think that maybe his sense of the feeling on his skin, on his face is oh, I can feel the breeze coming from the mic stand.
I
Also
know,
Superman,
I know
right?
all your senses get heightened.
Devil's advocate.
But I'm just saying, if you're talking about my favorite conspiracy theory, that's the one that I'm most likely to be yeah, I'm with you. I think he can see a little bit.
I have not done a lot of research on conspiracy theories, admittedly. But one time I went down the rabbit hole on the 9/11 conspiracy theories. I don't believe much of it, but it's interesting how much thought people put into it.
Sure.
And how deep it just kept going as I kept reading more and more. Obviously, the alien stuff in Arizona is pretty cool too, but that's the only one that I've actually read up on.
Yeah, I mean, there's classic ones like JFK,
Yeah.
Al Capone were buried, blah, whatever. The most interesting one I ever came across.
Wasn't that Geraldo?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, it was
I think Geraldo tried to find
I remember
Al
watching that,
Capone's
and he
treasure.
broke through
yeah.
a wall underneath something, expecting to find, and they found a Tommy gun and a suitcase with nothing in it.
at least there was.
Sorry.
It wasn't just like a Budweiser bottle or something, I suppose, huh?
But a more current one that I heard was that Avril Lavigne was dead and came back as faked her own death and came back as Taylor Swift.
Oh wow.
So that was
Genre changes are difficult.
yeah. So it was just that. But the one that always got me, I was out in the suburbs talking. We were talking about suburbs earlier, and a friend of mine from grade school grew up to be a dentist. We were a very, very intelligent person, and we were outside, and a plane flew over. And you know how sometimes planes leave the smoke trail, sometimes
contrail,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, everyone inside, and she had kids and all that. And I was just following. We all got inside, and I was like, Mary, what's that all about?
Yeah.
And she said, that's how the government gives you cancer.
Oh God.
And this person who I've known for a long time,
Wow.
who I always kind of thought pretty reasonable and whatever, but she was convinced, like, so she's never been on a plane or anywhere near an airport. Because the next time you see the entrails, nope, wrong, wrong word.
Contrails.
Yeah.
Those are called. My
They
mom,
call
my mom
them
called them a skywriter.
They call them chemtrails. They're actually called contrails, and they're just a natural thing.
You didn't say
that-
cunt trail, did you?
No.
Oh, no, I did not.
Well, yeah, so they
making
give you
sure.
cancer. There you go.
Wow. Oh, by the way, before we move on, Taylor Swift, you mentioned, is pregnant with Drake's baby. Don, what's yours?
Okay, it's one of my favorite questions to ask. Okay, you get to have dinner with anybody, any three people, alive or dead, in the history of the world. Who are your three people?
Abraham Lincoln, my great grandfather, and gosh. Yeah, what the hell? Bring Jesus on board. I think he might have some cool stories.
It's a good one.
I'm not religious at all, but I just like
Why
to
not?
pick his brain.
I like that you went personal with your great grandfather.
I never met him, and he seemed like a really fun guy.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time at bars.
Yeah.
I think most of our grandparents did that. But I'm gonna take a page out of the Ed book. My maternal grandfather, everyone says that I am him reincarnated. I never got a chance to meet him.
Okay.
But apparently I have mannerisms. I say similar things. I similar like addiction. I do this for salt on my when I put salt on something.
Yeah.
And then there's salt on the plate. I will put my finger and I will eat the extra salt. And apparently, my mom flipped out when she first saw that. Said her father used to do that all the time. Anyway, but then selfishly, you guys, we talked. I went to culinary school. Julia Child is a personal hero of mine.
Okay.
Obviously, never got to meet her, and I think that she's done a lot for the world, not just in the kitchen. And then similarly, but not really, Tina Fey. I know she's alive
good
and
one.
it's actually possible, but she's also one of my heroes. So
She's my nerdy female crush. I think she.
even I have a crush on her.
Yeah.
So
You know, I've always been a big car fan. So, and my grandfather was a mechanic, and so he always really appreciated Soichiro Honda, and then Henry Ford, and then I've always been a big German car nut. So I guess Ferdinand Porsche rounded out with all car fans. So.
Oh wow! So you'd be just having a 3-hour conversation over dinner about cars. That sounds hellishly boring to me. But,
I'm a car guy. I can get that. So, wow.
I love people with like wit, and I every time I got this question, I'm always trying to think of the three biggest wits in history, and it always comes down to Dorothy Parker, who was a member. She was a writer back in the turn of the last century, and
Thank you for defining her.
lived through the Roaring '20s, and just an acerbic wit, like just what? But yeah, she was great. An example of Dorothy Parker's humor. Somebody they asked her. What did they ask her? Somebody told her Calvin Coolidge had died, and she's like, "How can they tell?" You know, because he was just a absurdly boring man. And just stuff like that. She was just quick on her feet. Another one would be Oscar Wilde, the playwright.
Also an author. Okay.
Also very quick wit.
Couple seconds left.
And then Voltaire, the old French philosopher, also very quick wit and very funny in his writings.
I think I might put Hemingway on my list too. I don't know. That just came to me for some reason. He seemed like a
Again, staying in bars a lot.
I was about to
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
same with Oscar Wilde.
yeah. My second one. We're going through round 2 of the Dirty Dozen here on Through the Eyes of Guys. You alluded to this earlier, Paul, but I'm going to say, what would you guys say? And Chris, you don't drive these days? even though you're a car nut?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you don't have a car.
I have an urban mobility vehicle. It's all electric. All right. It's
Is
two
that what we're
wheels.
calling it
All
now?
right, yeah. It's a UMV. All right.
Biggest traffic pet peeve. You mentioned earlier, Paul, about laughing at people. When people get mad at me, I'm doing the laugh and the smile and the wave and everything just like you. So biggest pet peeve out there, like bad habits that people have, or just that you're like, God, this is so inconvenient.
We only have 3 minutes, right? 'Cause-
Unfortunately, yeah.
So, yeah, I used to let this get really get under my skin for no reason. Again, maybe bad headspace, but people that use their turn signal, go in the left lane, and just leave it on
Oh yeah, it's
for
annoying.
days. And so I used to consider myself, when I was driving back and forth to DeKalb, I was the road warrior, and what I would do is find somebody like this, and I would go in front of them and just turn on my turn signal until they realized what I was doing to them was really irritating me.
Yeah.
So I felt
Eye for an eye.
I was like, there you go. Then they turn it off. I would give them a thumbs up off of 88. And I would go on with my day.
I gotta say, it's maybe in a similar vein. It's the left lane bandits. And 90% of the time, it's the person who's actually I'm in the passenger seat, and it just makes my skin crawl when they sit there in the left lane and people are going on the right, and and then they always tell you that stupid saying. They're like, "I'm going the speed limit." It's them who are going too fast. I'm like, "Get out of the lane."
I'm texting and reading a book and eating a sandwich. That's why I'm going so slow in the left lane. Okay, Chris?
It gets even worse too. If you,
Picking
if
my
you-
nose.
If you get into something modern, like with one of the Teslas that'll quote unquote self drive, it is scary. People will be on Instagram the whole time. They will not even look up, and I just know my life is going to be filled with a lot of passenger anxiety.
A couple years ago, real quick, some friends were knocking me on Facebook for doing too much shit while I'm driving. So I would put at the end of a lot of my posts, written to you while driving.
I'm one of those people that goes 95 to 100 in the left lane. So if you're sitting in the damn left lane and you're not getting over when faster traffic is, that pisses me off to no end. Like when you're like, oh, I'm going the speed limit. I was like, that's not what the left lane's made for. There's those of us that are trying to speed and trying to get away with shit, and you're making it difficult.
Get away with shit. That's key right there.
So can I kind of go off a little bit of an angle on that one? So this is not necessarily in traffic, but in a parking lot, when you don't park within the lanes, and so then you throw off the rest of the entire parking.
It's dominoes.
Everyone is
Oh
screwed.
yeah.
Oh, I love it when somebody hugs the line, because I will hug the line right back on them, right on their driver's side too. Fuck them, make them crawl through their back, the side door or whatever,
Oh, I love it. It's a harmless way to screw them over.
Yep.
I agree.
Yes.
My biggest traffic pet peeve is when the light turns green, bam, and you honk at me right away.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, there's a different tone to every honk of the horn. You guys realize that, right? Especially if it's like the light just turned green and you
Lay on it.
honk like an asshole.
Yeah. Mhm.
Guess what?
I'm gonna
going
sit there.
5 miles an hour after I finally do get started. Yes, exactly. And we still got 10 seconds left.
All right,
Anybody
last
else?
thing.
Yep.
It's Black Friday. You're at the mall. You finally find a parking spot, and somebody goes in, sits in the car, and you have your turn signal on, and then you just sit there. They're on their phone. They're on Instagram. They're putting on their makeup, putting on their seatbelt, taking off their seatbelt, when they know that I'm waiting for their parking spot. Sorry, I went from traffic back to parking, but it's it's
Car
all the same
related.
genre.
We didn't even get a
Oh,
chance
good.
to talk about Uber drivers using the right or the right turn lane going in. So.
Oh yeah, jeez. Don't get me started on that.
All right, so I think we've established before, maybe not. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of business dinners, and I love this episode because it's giving me fodder when a bunch of strangers get together and we don't know what to talk about.
Awesome.
One of my go-to questions is this one. It's my favorite one, just like yours, Don. All right, zombie apocalypse. You're on the top of a hill. You have one superpower, one partner with you, one whoever it is. And what's the theme song playing in the background so you can
Oh my
get rid
God.
of all of the
Wow.
all
That's
the
a good
zombies.
one.
So if you guys need a second, what I always say, I want to fly, is mine.
Okay.
You want I always want a Wolverine next to me because you can't really kill Wolverine and plus Hugh Jackman, right? Yeah. And then lastly, I would have You're the Best Around from the original Karate Kid.
Yeah.
During the last the dojo or the
Yeah. I know
final
the song
scene,
you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah. I know the
when
song you're
Daniel
talking
LaRusso finally wins over the evil Johnny. That's my answer.
Gosh, I gotta say, Probably the ability to turn back time. Britney Spears circa 2004. Probably Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Oh, so Britney's actually your sidekick.
The answer is yes.
At the top of the hill. Awesome.
If it's a one-way street and everyone's going to die and become a zombie, you might as well have some entertainment there.
And
right?
what year did she shave her head? Is that post shaving her head?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter at some point.
Do you want her with a full head of hair?
Yeah, in a preference, but beggars can't be choosers. It's the end of the world.
Yep.
Superpower. Wow, flight's a good one. Because you could just fly away. Fuck them. But who do I want with me? Boy, that's a hard one.
Would it be Ed?
Yeah. Yeah, just for the it would be Ed just for the fodder. Just be like, eat him first, and then I don't know what song to play. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a lot longer than we have right now.
So it's me and you, and it's silent.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems like a very Nancy Sinatra boots are made for walking moment.
I am up on this hill with a magical power. Beam me up. We teleport anywhere I can go.
Oh, a little like
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Jinx.
I don't even know what Nightcrawler is, but yeah. So,
Not an X-Men fan.
No,
apparently.
clearly.
Nope. Actually, I've never seen any of those comic book
Don't
things
wave your
except
finger
for,
in my face.
except for Iron Man, young man. I was waving it at the concept, not at you. Okay. Gosh, who's going to be with me? Who's going to be with me? I don't know why Justin Timberlake came to my mind, but the song playing in the background is "It's the End of the World as We Know It."
Oh, that's
a good one.
Good.
Great REM
Good one.
song. Yeah.
Good one.
I can honestly say, in all the business dinners I've had, I've never had the same answers twice.
Yeah.
Just like here, because what are you going to do with Justin Timberlake next to you?
It'd just be cool to hang out with JT at those final moments.
One of you
Got a couple
guys,
minutes.
one of you guys said like the world's gonna end anyway. I'm gonna get eaten by a zombie or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sing the song "Bye Bye Bye," and sing. I couldn't think of another celebrity after that because I was too busy thinking about the song. So that's why.
All right.
All right, next topic.
All right. What is something that happened in your life that felt like the worst thing at the time, but was really the best thing or a better thing in the long run?
Yikes.
Somewhat deep.
I guess I can start. I got arrested, and it was terrible at the time, but it ended up kind of kicking me forward, and actually, nothing really came of it at the end. So it motivated me.
Yeah. I've never been arrested, but I think it would have helped in a couple instances. Probably would have kicked me in a different direction. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's hard. Ed, do you got anything yet, or? Let me think about that for a second.
I got fired from my first job out of college, and it was a shitty job. And I probably would have stuck it out for a little while longer. So they kind of did me a favor. They gave me some severance, and I was able to build up my career after that at 23. So that was kind of, oh my God, I was crying my eyes out because, how do you pay the rent? What do I tell mom and dad? But in the end, there were better things on the horizon.
I have a similar, little less dramatic example. When I was freshman in college, I was obsessed with Old Navy. I know, right? I'm sorry.
Can we
Kelly,
explore
our
that?
timer, almost fell out of her chair. And so I was like, Old Navy, blah, blah. And I'm like, my summer job, I'm going to work at Old Navy. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And they called me. They're like, you didn't fit our, whatever, and we're not going to hire. And I was just like, I don't fit in an Old Navy. My self-esteem was at an all-time low. But so I was at Chicago Ridge Mall, if anyone is from the area. And so Old Navy said no, and I went to visit my cousin who worked at Carson Perry Scott. God rest its soul. It's no longer a department store there. And I was just telling them, I didn't get a job. They said I was stupid, whatever. She's like, do you want to work here? I was like, not really. But I filled out an application. It was the best job I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, yeah?
I got promoted to store trainer within 2 months.
Wow.
Set my own schedule. At the time, I had all these 20-year-old girls that were in love with me, even though I was just Oh, that's cool, bro. But because it propelled me into the store trainer, I got all these other opportunities because I graduated from college with this training thing, and it built my resume. I actually opened up several other stores, and I know it's still a retail job. No offense to retail, but I loved it. I was gonna go in the corporate world, retire, and go back to Carson's because I loved it so much. And so I took my low self-esteem at Old Navy and turned it into something that I cherish.
You heard it here first. You got to be really smart to work at Old Navy. They'll take anybody at Carson Perry Scott, but you might be able to turn yourself into something.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of sad that I don't have something like that like I can think back on. But
Don lives a very, very charmed life.
I guess so. I never really thought about it like that.
Like
but,
the popular CW show.
Yeah.
Right.
But I never had anything that like. It's like I never quit a job and then got a better one. Like, or I never been fired. Really. So. Which is,
And never been arrested, which is also a good
never
thing.
been
Yeah,
arrested.
yeah. Well,
But there were times when I should have been arrested for sure.
if any employers are listening,
Might
it
have
was
helped.
all dropped. The
Yeah.
state of Michigan
Yeah.
did not press
You also
charges.
never worked at Old Navy, though.
Yeah, it's true. True.
It is amazing, as an aside, how many times people get stuck in a job and you just wait it out and out and out, and then all of a sudden you get canned, and it's like a weight has been lifted. So I'm sure that's.
I felt like that about a lot of breakups.
Or wait, no, I did get fired from the bank. That's right. And I guess that did kind of work out for me because I went to Wrigley. So I guess that would be mine. But like, the bank was just at the time was terrible. Like I was working at this bank in Wicker Park, and at the time Wicker Park wasn't what it is now. It was still there was still a very large working class like Puerto Rican and Mexican element to Wicker Park, and I was the assistant branch manager and teller supervisor for Midwest Bank and Trust, and it was terrible to have like the corporate part of the bank come down on me like, you got to sell these people more product. I was like, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm like, and they got mad at me. I got fired because I kept reversing overdraft fees. Because at that point,
Nice.
they were just charging poor. They were just stealing money from people that didn't have it. And I said
harsh.
I said that in a board meeting, and the branch manager just looked at me and he goes, and like we're driving back to our branch, he's like, you realize they're gonna make me fire you, right?
minutes,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
hours,
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah. And he's like, I applaud you for saying it because we were all thinking it, but like he's like, I can't believe you said that in front of them. And I was like, did I say something that wasn't true? I mean, we were stealing money from people that didn't have it.
Yep.
Brought to you by Chase Bank.
Yeah, right. Any other bank from but Midwest.
Yeah, but they're done now. They've been bought out 3 or 4 times over.
What you got, Don? Are you next? I think you're next, right?
Am I next? I guess I'm next. Okay. You're in prison. You're on death row. What's your last meal?
I
Good
thought about this
question.
morning. I thought about this one this morning. This was going to be one of my questions.
Oh,
too.
I thought you were just like in the shower thinking about it, like, oh, wonder what my last
No,
meal
it was
would
going to be one of my things for this podcast. And by the way, Kelly, who is our timekeeper, who's a female, I want to get her take on this at the end of this round here. So I'm going to say the same thing I said 15 years ago, the last time or the first time that I was really asked as an adult. I'm going to sound like I'm 15. But Lou Malnati's pizza and a junior bacon cheeseburger from Wendy's. Well, actually, you're the Wendy's guy. That's mine.
That's good. I must be hungry. That just sounds like amazing right now. So maybe I'm showing my whatever, but Taco Bell,
And what's your
cheesy gordita crunch,
okay.
nachos Bel Grande, and I'm glad to say, as of last Thursday, the Mexican pizza has returned.
Wait, I can have dessert, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll figure out my dessert and I'll let you guys know because I got a huge sweet tooth.
Well, so Taco Bell, I don't think they have them anymore, but they used to have a Choco Taco, so you could also have dessert. That was also amazing. But yeah, Taco Bell.
Have you gone back to get your Mexican pizza yet? Because
Oh.
they are.
Can I tell you that I'm actually I have the Taco Bell app on my phone, and I got it 2 days early via the app.
Damn.
I don't want to brag, but yeah,
Who is the McDonald's? They probably got the Mulan sauce there still.
that was me too.
There's a pattern.
Yeah, Chris.
Well, I would say I've always been a big burger fanatic, so I don't know. As a Chicago native, I want to say now, or a resident rather, I would say maybe Au Cheval, but I kind of go back and forth on the best burger. But yeah, I would say a burger, and I'm still a big soda fan. So as long as I got a regular Coke, that'd be good.
I'm sorry, what?
Soda.
What is that?
Yeah. All you broken people. All right, so. No, you guys did make reference to that in one of the last shows, and so half the family is from Connecticut and the other is from St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
And so thus soda.
Pop, whatever. Yeah. I vacillate on this. That's why I asked it. But
Hold on, it's another vocabulary time with Don.
means I go round and round.
Can we get a
Vaseline?
theme song for that? Yeah.
But yeah, I go round and round with this one in my head. I think about it way more than I should, which is why I asked it. But but I'm never going to be on death row. At least I hope I'm never on death row. But like, it always starts with a slice of my grandmother's lasagna, a beef from Johnny's Beef in Elmwood Park,
Booyah!
like, dipped with sweet peppers, please, or juicy with
Such
sweet
a
peppers.
polite prisoner.
Juicy with sweet peppers, please. And then, but my biggest regret is I don't have any like food allergies that would send me into anaphylactic shock. Because that would be what I would choose if I had one of those, just to be like, haha, motherfuckers, you thought you were going to kill me. Now I'm dead anyways.
I like it. Okay, and now, for the first time ever, a female voice on the airwaves, on the recording of Through the Eyes of Guys. Kelly, what would be your last meal?
And I feel honored, thank you. A big steak burrito smothered in cheese with a great picadillo. I can't say it. Picadillo on top. And specifically from this restaurant, it's Takalakatan, that I've never been able to pronounce. It was on West Chicago Avenue, and now it's in the New City area. Or Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And what do you get from there? Just the standard bucket?
Yeah, but white meat.
All right.
You're on your way out. You could do dark too.
And the mashed potatoes. Got to have the mashed potatoes there with the gravy.
I've never had their mashed potatoes. Do they taste natural? Because some of them are powdery, They're pretty good.
Is that an extra tasty crispy or regular?
Regular. I used to be a crispy girl, but it lost its flavor.
I like how this group is well versed on fast food. We've gone back to the topic of fast food, 3 or 4
Several
times. Yeah, looks like we're on the right road there. Okay, back to me. This is my last question. It's a yes or no question, and then if the answer is yes, what was this moment for you? Do you feel grown up? And if you do feel like you are grown up or you are a grown up, is there a moment in time, sort of, or something that happened, or a birthday or something that caused you to be like, holy crap, I am a damn adult?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's definitely not like a birthday or anything for me. It's more of it's more of the mail that I get. So, and I'm not saying like AARP or anything, but
I've heard that a lot.
But like when I got my very first tax bill, like what I owed for income tax from the IRS, which gave me a heart attack, by the way. When I got my very first mortgage bill in the mail, that made me feel like I am an adult now. I don't care if I'm 25, 27, 50, which I'm not. But like, it was definitely that. And I am now getting, when I was little, my voice did not change until I was like 35. So I was always like, hi, I'm going to order a pizza. And so the people on the other end would always go, oh, okay, ma'am, it'll be there in 30 minutes. Whoa. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what is this? Old Navy all over again. And so when I remember when someone said, oh, thanks, sir, I was like, yes, I'm an adult.
Wow, that's a big milestone for you right there. It was a gradual thing from 17 to 35, or all of a sudden one day, bam, deep voice.
It was a gradual thing, Ed. But yeah, those little moments really made it. Again, not a milestone birthday, not like a whatever. It's more about the bills.
Mortgage and being called sir.
Yes.
Well, I would say yes, and kind of the moment that it happened was actually during COVID. So my cohort of friends all decided to get pregnant at almost the same time, and it was pretty shocking when all of a sudden kids were coming home. And I think the thing that really changed was it started to be less weird, like being thrown up upon and being peed on and whatnot. And that was like my moment where I was like, oh wait, like I'm in a room of adults, therefore I am an adult.
Like, oh wait, this is college all over again.
Well, trust me, the fraternity house was not nearly as messy as some of these kids. And the smells and odors, and we had 65 guys in the house in the fraternity, so it was a mess. Just seeing these little kids come home and. I don't know. Grand scheme of things, I would say it was COVID. All of a sudden, all of your buddies are there, and all of a sudden, 40th birthday parties are being canceled because their kid got so sick in the airport that they couldn't go on it. And I was like, okay, I must be an adult now.
And you're 36, you said?
36, yeah.
All right.
Mine's very similar. It's not for me because I feel like I've been in an arrested state of development since I was about 18 or 19. But like I do realize that, yes, I am older and far wiser now than I was when I was 18. And it's just the little things like, I don't know, be out at a bar and see kids open up a tab and close it after 2 drinks and then want to open another one. And it's like, what are you doing, you fucking amateur? It's like make up your damn mind. Are you staying? Are you going? What are you doing? And what are you doing, like ordering 2 drinks and then closing a tab? Like, who does that? I mean, and unless you're leaving, but you're not leaving. You're going to hang out. I don't understand that, and just it's the little things like that, and just seeing the younger generation and going, God, was I that dumb? And then realizing, yes, I was at one point.
Yes. Can I add a recent just from this past weekend? I was at a family wedding, but up at the bar, they had one of those signs that says you must be born on this date before.
Oh, those always kill.
Oh, yeah.
When it flipped.
And it was 2001.
Right.
Yep, 2001.
Yep. Right.
And that was definitely not like I'm an adult, but that was the year I graduated college.
Yeah.
Right. Britney Spears was on the top 20. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to need to get you some therapy for your Britney obsession.
Yeah.
For the record, I will close out that question with I do not feel grown up. I echo everything that you guys have felt, but that's not my life. Actually, what was your response, Paul? I wasn't really listening. Oh, no, you said the bill in the mail.
Bills.
And the, what was the other thing?
My deep voice, Ed.
Okay.
But the 2001 drinking age is definitely like a shocker.
For whatever reason, I always consider grown up to be based on my own personal life. And considering I'm still living with just my pets in a condo and, I guess not necessarily the dream of the white picket fence and everything, but like I just still feel like I'm just, I'm on my way still on that road, but not quite grown up. And in the almighty words of Jimmy Buffett, growing older, but not up. With that, I will pass it on to Paul.
All right.
This is number, let's see.
This is my last one.
1, 2, 3.
Everybody's last one.
Okay, so we got 3 more to go. 9.
So this one, I guess, is a little bit deeper. I had a little bit more levity a little bit earlier. Looking back on your 46, 36, 45 year, 44 years, one thing that you wish you would have done differently. This can be anything. So it's kind of along the same lines of like what you thought was bad but turned into a blessing or good thing.
Yeah, I would say, having more of a focus on health. Growing up, I was always a swimmer, and so always in very good shape. And I took that very much for granted, and basically didn't do anything for 10 or 12 years. And I feel like that was an entirely missed opportunity. Where I'm not looking to be on the cover of a magazine, but it would be nice to feel a little bit better about how I am
With Brittany.
Well, of course. Is there anyone else, really?
I think I would have tried a little harder to learn an actual musical instrument. I know that seems petty and small, but I could still do that to this day, but it just, I don't know. I feel like I would have been way better at guitar had I actually sat down with it and tried, or way better at trumpet when I was playing that in high school, but I never really applied myself the way I could have.
Gotcha. So here I am at 44, and you noticed in my kitchen that there's some meal preps sort of stuff going on.
I did.
And I really wish, to your point, Chris, about health, I really, as a starting point, I really wish I would have joined wrestling in high school. The friends that I knew that joined wrestling learned a lot about health. They got, very strong upper body wise and everything else, and just kind of seemed like they were, in tune with their body. And I just kind of coasted through life, never knowing anything about it. So here I am trying to sort of catch up. That's on one side of thing. A lot of things like that, though, about learning stuff. I kind of wish that I would have learned culinary stuff and those kind of grown-up things a little earlier. I'm getting a grasp on them now, but a little earlier. What was the other thing I had there?
That was actually my other question that I opted not to ask. Is something you wish you learned in high school, or that they taught in high school that you didn't because you spent too much time in.
Other crap classes?
Yes.
Just doing stupid shit.
Right.
So I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, all A's every time, all the way through. Had a huge knack for it. Took 1 semester at NIU, and then for whatever reason, I was afraid of going and living on like an international or bilingual floor at the dorms or whatever, and I didn't never pursued it. So I would have liked to have been like some kind of a bilingual.
Did you forget
something.
a lot of that, or are you still pretty fluent in Spanish?
I could hold my own, but it's kind of like if you see somebody that's just learning English,
Okay.
and they can kind of float along in a
Yeah,
conversation, but they
okay.
sound like they don't.
It's a little broken?
Yeah. So I could definitely, express myself, but it probably would sound like the weird wrong verb tenses and
You're
and
gonna
that
sound
kind
like
of stuff.
Borat.
Yes. Very nice.
Is there time for me to answer?
5 seconds.
All right, 5 seconds. I wish it would have come out earlier. I was really old when I came out.
Come out of what?
The
Closet.
actually, it's so Don, thank you for saying, but I came out of my closet and I came out of my shell around the same time. So
Okay.
both.
All right.
about
Oh,
that?
okay. All right. Nice.
And so, like at NIU, they had the bilingual floors, but they also had like LGBTQ floors. I don't think the Q was there yet. It was still
20 plus years ago they did?
They did. They had
That
one
is
floor.
wonderful.
simpler
I
time.
didn't, I had
in
no
Douglas.
idea. Wow.
And I was this close to like checking the box about my floor preference. I'm like, but then everyone will know. And then everyone on my floor will know. But then I'm like, wait a second, everyone on my floor would be there anyway.
Right.
But they'd know about me.
Yeah.
So it was something all through college, there's all these different, they did have a lot of mixers. Do you remember Eduardo's downtown DeKalb?
Uh-huh.
They had like a monthly like margarita gay it up thing. And I was like, I should go to that. But I never did.
Wow. But you really wanted to.
But I really wanted to.
Talk about time travel, damn. All right, Chris, what do you got for us?
Well, we'll go back into the time travel category. So, what are you too old for but still enjoy?
Masturbation is not included here.
Don's like 16-year-olds.
Not 16, but 18's legal.
Well, there's actually a nuance to that.
What do you mean there's a nuance to that?
In most states, the legal age of consent is actually lower than
Yeah, it is actually lower, but I don't go lower than 18. I don't even
a
go to
mature
18
17.
anymore.
You're
not
I don't
gonna
go
be
to
able
18.
to monetize this.
I don't go to 18 anymore either. But I don't know. That's a hard one. Oof. I probably shouldn't drink as much as I do, but I'm good at it, so I keep doing it.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of like little treats and stuff. I mean, I got such a sweet tooth that like any of those old childhood treats, and I'm just like, I'll eat half a box. Where was I at? Oh, I was at a men's meeting the other night, and we were talking about our favorite childhood snack,
A
actually.
Mensa meeting?
Men's.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that smart.
All right. I was like, I learned something new today.
It's called mensliving.org, I think. It's just like it's like basically like this, but it's a little more serious. And they asked us the favorite childhood snack. I said fruit roll-ups, but which was what came to me. But do you guys
Those
remember?
things were terrible. It was like eating plastic. How
They
did you
still
eat
are
that
fantastic.
shit?
Did you only have the strawberry ones?
I ate like one of them once and was like, "That's terrible. I'm never eating that again."
Like
I
fruit by
liked-
the foot, right? Similar?
It's the same texture, yeah,
Okay.
but it was just like a half piece of paper basically. And I was telling the group also, at a certain point in the years of fruit roll-ups, they actually had like shapes in there too, like a star and a half moon or whatever else. They're improving it. Right. But one of the guys in the group said the Nutty Bars. Do you guys remember Nutty Bars?
Little Debbie.
Little
do
Debbie,
have
yeah.
a soft spot in my heart for those.
Man, those are so good. It's the perfect mix of peanut butter and chocolate. So if I would say
that would be the Reese's peanut butter egg.
Thank you.
Easter time, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's already been established on this podcast. And I believe there was a text between you guys after the fact. Somebody experienced that, and I forget what the observation was.
It was amazing. That's a really good question. I guess I'm a sucker for. I still like to watch cartoons, like not religiously.
Get roped in.
Yeah, and so what's thing that's really depressing. No, so thanks a lot. Is you go back because you can stream anything now, right? Literally any Netflix of one of the many streaming services, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was my favorite cartoon when I was little, and I press play, and 5 minutes into it, I'm like, what am I doing? Like I get it, but like, and so like nothing holds the magic, but I still try to. I'm like, oh,
Are you just into like cartoons with like the younger theme cartoons,
Like Woody
or
Woodpecker,
or do you
Looney Tunes?
like anime and stuff like that?
no,
too,
no anime. Like, so I'll give you an example. The perfect example. Every holiday season.
Because there's a really cool thing on Netflix now called Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah,
and
I've
it's-
heard about
it's
that.
really cool.
But like, I don't consider like The Simpsons or Family Guy, to be child cartoons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But so like every holiday season, I have to watch The Grinch. I have to watch.
I love that shit.
Rudolph. I have to watch all that stuff.
Like the old stop motion claymation
yes,
shit. Yeah,
exactly.
that's pretty cool.
Desperately trying to reclaim my youth, I guess. So I guess that's probably something I should.
Like I don't make a go out of my way, but I'll watch the like.
Oh, I have a
the-
checklist.
All the Peanuts specials.
Yeah.
Like if they're on, I'll watch them just because like it takes you back.
And let's be honest, It's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is boring. It is really boring.
I don't remember that one so much. I see the Christmas one a lot more often.
There's a Thanksgiving one too, isn't there?
There is a Thanksgiving
where
one.
Peppermint Patty bullies her way into Charlie Brown's backyard,
Right.
demands a Thanksgiving
bully
dinner.
bitch. Right.
She is a bully.
Or is she a motherfucker?
Oh, bringing it full circle.
To your point of childhood stuff, so I tried. I found in a video store. This is before Netflix. Pee Wee's Playhouse when I
yeah.
was like in my 30s, and I brought it home and I rented it. Nope, could not stomach it.
Right.
But Hanna-Barbera has an app called Boomerang, and if you pay $6.99 a month, you can see all the old original anything Hanna-Barbera. Scooby-Doo, all that stuff. And I guess I don't know if Woody Woodpecker was on there, but Droopy was on there, right? So I'd watched an old Droopy one and Tom and Jerry and all those. Those would still entertain me. But for whatever reason, Pee Wee's Playhouse, no, thank you.
Right.
And I don't even think it has to do with what he did in the theater. I just think the whole thing is just, man, I don't know.
He was just like, why does this guy go to his playhouse like on Saturday mornings just for like a half hour? And this cowboy guy stops by and his chair talks.
Do you know who played the cowboy?
Oh, it's somebody.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne, yes.
Oh wow.
I just remember him
I was
saying
gonna
to
say
Pee Wee,
Samuel L. Jackson.
I sleep in the nude, Pee Wee, because they wanted to have a sleepover. I sleep in the nude. And that's Lawrence Fishburne, a black guy doing a southern accent like that. With
that
stir
was
on
not
the-
fly
Claim for
today.
jazz.
You know what Lawrence Fishburne's first role was?
It was something
was a cowboy
with
Curtis.
Bill Cosby
No.
or something.
No, he was Cleon in Apocalypse Now. He was the black guy on the boat.
And what was that? Who was that character?
He was just like he was like a young grunt on this naval boat that was supposed to get the main character played by Sheen up the river. But are we way over on
I
this
think
one?
we're over 3 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. That was the last question, right? Or do we have one more?
I had one more question,
ahead.
but I don't know.
You don't like it?
It's all right, but it was one dead celebrity you could bring back.
Okay. Do you have an answer?
Britney Spears.
Listen.
Don't think she's dead. Well, I had a hard time. There's a bunch, but like, Chris Farley comes to mind because I think he had a lot more to offer. Belushi the same way. Just it'd definitely be a comedian. Like I would have loved to see what George Carlin did with Today. I would have loved to see what Bill Hicks did with Today. As far as their take on it. I would have loved seeing what Richard Pryor did today. So it would probably be a comedian for me.
The one that comes to mind that just we lost her just way too young is Betty White. No,
You did deliver that with a deadpan face.
That was great.
I couldn't give you guys eye
That was
contact
great.
though.
That was great.
Very tragic that she didn't make it to 100 though.
Yes.
I think.
Real side note there. What was really, I thought, in my opinion, very tacky was the week after. Like all the magazines had already published Betty
Yeah.
White turns 100.
I know.
People, all these things. So the
Tributes.
supermarket thing, they weren't tributes yet. They were
Well, no, they
celebrating
were
her,
they were like yeah.
and they threw them out on the market on the shelves anyway.
Yeah.
I just thought that was wildly inappropriate.
Isn't there a button or like a memo you send out like take them all and burn them or whatever, you know?
Yep.
There's got to be an emergency button or whatever. This is not personal to me, but maybe those guys that all died in that plane crash together, like they were really young musicians, Richie Valens
Richie
and those two
Valens,
other
Big
guys,
Bopper.
Big Bopper and this
Yeah.
other. It seems like they were really young and maybe they had a lot more music to make. I don't know. Elvis lived long enough, and he was kind of a tub of crap at that point by the time he died. So let's
Elvis
not
was
bring
part
him
of the
back.
27 Club, wasn't he? Didn't he die at 27?
I thought it was in
Make
his
a little
50s.
longer than that.
No, he was in
I think it was more.
Yeah, he made it longer than that.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah. How old was Whitney Houston?
She might have been 27. No, she was a
No,
little
she
older.
she was in her
older, yeah. 'Cause
30s
her
or
daughter
40s.
was in her, I think, late teens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to follow Don's lead in comedians. One of which I think I'm dating myself, but Lucille Ball I think is
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
genius.
yeah, she was hilarious. Yeah.
And the other one who may or may not be someone you recognize, Gilda Radner.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Was-
SNL and
Yeah,
Gilda's
she was
House.
taken way too
did she
early.
pass
She
away?
got
Cancer.
cancer.
She had cancer. I want to say late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
And she was married to Willy Wonka in real life.
Yeah. Her and
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
For all of you.
For all of you who don't know.
Yeah.
But I just both of them, and not to start a whole different conversation, but I feel like female comedians, just like you were referencing Dorothy Parker
Yeah.
earlier, don't get their due.
Right.
And I just think, especially, I've watched a lot of stuff on Lucille Ball, and she's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Again, with that question that I asked, I go round and round with everybody on that list except for Dorothy Parker. She'd have to be part of that dinner. She would have to be, just because everything I've ever read by her just makes me laugh out loud. It's great stuff.
And I would say I was always such a huge Bond fan, and so Roger Moore. Still, it's unconventional, but Roger Moore, in my opinion, is the best Bond because it's fun and entertaining, and he's half jerk, half playboy, and all that. It was too bad to see him pass away. So I would
Never
bring
been
him back.
huge into the Bond, but always preferred Connery. But maybe that's just because of my Scottish background.
You should try bondage.
That's episode 11. I don't know. I think Pierce Brosnan kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
He was really good, but he
Embodies.
only did like one or two movies.
He only did a hand because he didn't want to get
Right.
typecast.
Right.
But I just felt like if I'm reading a James Bond book, which I never did or ever will, he would be who I would picture.
To clarify, there's only, I think, 2 James Bond books. So.
Did you guys hear the rumors that the next one's going to be a female?
No, I thought it was supposed to
I
be.
heard it would be a big
was
black
Idris
guy.
Elba. and
Idris
now
Elba,
it's-
yeah.
But now there's that woman in the contention, so
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Jamie Bond.
The broccoli
Jane
stand.
Exactly.
Bond?
That's
Jane
my
Bond?
point. Yeah. So what do you guys think? This was kind of a cool format, wasn't it?
This one, again, from a professional perspective, I love this because you guys gave me fodder when I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of people that are staring at each other, not having, and I feel like this ringleader. I'm like, hey everybody, look at me, and I'm just trying to do this thing. So this was great.
Good. I think we'll do this, every half dozen or so episodes. Unfortunately, you guys were here for the first one here, and we probably won't include you in the next one. But I think we're going to give everybody else a turn on that one too. So, thanks for being here. This was fun. Hope you guys also enjoyed yourself, and hope the listeners also never got bored because I think you never know which direction we're going to take today.
Right.
A little serious, a little funny, a little stupid.
Can I put out a request? Is that
I
okay?
suppose.
So there's an email that you have, right?
Yes.
And what is that email address?
Through the eyes of guys at gmail.com, and that is with the THRU.
Okay, because I would love some of these answers to hear from some of the people that are listening.
Right.
Because I'm sure some people were screaming at listening to our answers.
Yep.
Some people were probably agreeing. Some people may also have a thing for Britney Spears.
Right.
But I think
Yes.
If you if one of the questions we had you have a really strong feeling about, tell us, and then I think maybe Ed can read it next time.
Yeah. I would love to hear from our listeners as far as that goes, responses, but also send us your ideas for the next time we do a Dirty Dozen questions. Sorry, Don, are we keeping you awake?
No, the coffee ran out already.
Was there a reason you leaned in to yawn?
No, it's because anytime I make a noise, I have to be sure I'm heard. No, you're not boring me. I've been up since 7. I had the early shift at work today.
It's a long day.
Yeah.
Kelly, thank you for being our timer today.
You guys
Was-
behaved somewhat.
Was this fun for you at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like my microphone?
No, that's okay.
Was there any of our answers today that you heard during this thing where you're like, what the fuck are they thinking?
Only the answers to your first question.
Oh,
But
really?
we've had this discussion already.
Yeah, she thinks that bitch is really harsh, and a couple of my female friends do. It
As a
wasn't
person
like
who's been called a bitch. Yeah.
it wasn't across the board where all the females I asked thought the bitch was harsh, and all dudes did not. It was all varied.
Comparing those two, looking at it literally, bitch is worse.
I think I put this in our little text thread this week. I feel like that word is sometimes an honor. Like, I feel like some people are like, oh, yeah, I was a total bitch to him. Or, like, they take... I don't think it was...
It was in that Lizzo song. I'm 100% that bitch.
That bitch. Or, there's a random song by Livy Frank called...
Again, everything's all about context.
Right. And so I guess if you own it, like, I'm a bitch. There's a song by Livy Frank called Now I'm That Bitch. And it's very, like...
And I don't want to come off as like the 46-year-old old curmudgeon guy, but like a lot of the younger generation does not understand context nowadays.
Right.
Like they don't get like that some things are not meant to offend.
And this bitch did not. She was younger.
Well, you couldn't stop looking at her ass during the whole night.
That was the only redeeming quality of her. All right, guys, we'll call that an episode, and we'll see you around the corner for episode 11. I'm Eddie J. We'll see you next time. Remember, we're all in this together. Leave no guy behind.
What's on your mind?
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the TuneIn Radio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. I have to get nachos, then I forget about what episode number it is.
You didn't have to get nachos.
I know,
Nobody
I
said
know.
you had to get nachos.
I know.
10. Episode 10.
Is it 10?
This is
Oh, wow.
10.
Giggity, giggity.
Yeah. The long-term girlfriend was 8. So
She was 8 years old. Wow.
no, she was a couple years older.
You perv.
Giggity, giggity.
Do you have a beer? Oh, you do have a beer. Good.
I do,
I'm glad I'm not
yes.
drinking alone. Okay.
No. I get the shakes every day at 3:30, rain or shine. So.